Okay, this is the Polaris cleaner, and it just runs off of a booster pump that pushes high pressure through it, which spins the wheels and makes this thing move on the pool. It's got a debris bag. This is a fine mesh bag I recommended. It picks up all the dirt also, versus a standard bag. And it's got a backup valve here that every few minutes it'll shoot water to back it out of corners. If it gets stuck, it just activates and pushes it out of the corner. So it activates by itself every few minutes. And those tend to fail once in a while. The way to know if they failed, if it's shooting water continuously out as the Polaris is running, you know that valve is no good. It has to be replaced. This one here is about 5 years old, and to be honest with you, I have done no maintenance on this one at all. I haven't changed any wheels or any bearings, and it's running great, and it's in really good shape. The only thing I've changed is the bag a couple times. It has a rear float to kind of keep it in the water, and this fails once in a while too. It gets a crack and fills with water. So if you find your Polaris at the bottom of the pool on its side, chances are this rear float is a problem, and it just pulls right off. You put a new one on. And you can adjust the tail to, when it's in the pool, it'll move to kind of push the debris around and stir up the dirt. And you can adjust it. There's a little adjuster right here, so you can adjust that to allow it to move slower or faster. If it goes too quickly, it tends to shoot water out of the pool, and it'll get water everywhere on your windows and whatnot. So you want to keep it a little bit low, but just enough to keep it moving. And it also shoots water out of the back here to propel it along the way. And it's very durable. Like I said, this one's 5 years old, so I highly recommend this cleaner if you have a booster pump installed. Now the Polaris only needs to run for about 2 hours a day. Anything longer than that, you're just wasting energy. I mean, there's the booster pump that powers the Polaris. And it needs to be running when your pump is running. This one here is a IntelliFlow pump, programmed to run during the day. So make sure that your Polaris is also timed with the pool pump. Otherwise it will not work unless water is running through it. If you have it off timing, that booster pump will burn out over time if you have it running without the pool pump running. So be cautious and make sure you have the timer set to run when the pump is running. Okay, as you can see, the Polaris is moving really well in this pool. This pool is all tile, all small little tiles on the bottom, so don't get distracted by that. But you can see the Polaris actually moving really good. And that's about the speed it's running at. It's got a pressure relief here and a quick disconnect. If you have a party, you can just disconnect it out of the pool. It just comes right out real easily. And sometimes those do fail also, they get a crack in it. It's also got a basket for debris. If you backwash the pool or clean out the filter, sometimes the return line will shoot debris through there, and that stops it from going into the Polaris and clogging it up. So make sure if you have a problem it's not running, check that after you clean the filter. Make sure there's no debris in there. Here comes the Polaris around this way. You can see the tail moving, and that's about the speed you want it to move at. If it goes any faster than that, it's going to be shooting water all over the place. And I'll get a picture of it when it starts backing up for you. And here's that backup valve activating right now. As you can see, it's pushing water through there, and that reverses the Polaris to get it out of corners and steps. It's really effective to get it out of tight spots. So it's reversing it right now. Now I have a few of these cleaners that are actually, I have two that are 15 years old that are still running, and a couple that are over 10 years old. And they just need minor repairs internally, and the wheels and whatnot externally. So they're very durable. And the hose length, one last thing I'd like to mention is that the hose length is very important. If you have too much hose, the cleaner will tend not to get around the pool too much. You just want to have enough so it reaches everywhere in the pool without too much overlap. And this one here is an excellent size pool. And one more thing also, the hoses sometimes will curl up, and what you can do is you can just add another thing here that turns the hoses. A swivel is what it's called. And you just cut it with a razor blade, insert it in, put two nuts on, and you can attach another swivel to make the hose turn if the hose seems to be getting tangled up. So that's about all I have for the troubleshooting on the Polaris there. And again, it's a great cleaner. You can see it moving really rapidly through the pool, and within 2 hours this whole pool is spotless. And that's my review on the Polaris. I hope you found that helpful, and please check out my other reviews on my site.
This thing's been running like silk for almost 4 days. This pool was a green mess, and now it's a gem. All because of my beautiful new Polaris 280. Thank you, baby. She worked great right out of the box. Easy setup, especially if you're used to this kind of thing. I followed the directions exactly for measuring the hose and spacing out the floaties. So if you do what I did, she should work great. God, that's so nice to watch. My last one would have gotten knotted right there. But she did last almost 17 years. And there it is floating. It won't stay to the bottom, it floats a lot. I check for air bubbles, check for leaks. It does okay on perfectly flat areas, but then it'll kind of float too much, like there's not enough weight to it. It'll do a lot of vendos. It's like it doesn't have enough weight to keep it flat on the bottom.
Hey guys, this is my review of the Polaris 280 sweep cleaner. I'm not happy with my purchase. It continues to just get tangled up and sit there on the side even when I untangle it. And when it is untangled, it just floats above the water. There's water in the float ball. And as you can see, it doesn't do a really good job cleaning the pool when it's stuck over there. I believe I got a defective one. So I'm not happy. I'll report back once I contact the seller.